less waste coming through in the residuals. And of course, we've already mentioned the other burners proposed for the region. So I think these guys are being wildly optimistic in assuming that they're going to be getting this material, and just as the Kent County people pointed out. Now, I haven't been able to go through all the documents involved. I did go through the carbon document. But what they should be doing is to compare the toxic metal and dioxin emissions from a trash incinerator with the toxic metal emissions and dioxin emissions from a natural gas incinerator, which are very low. The heavy metals and dioxins is one of the cleanest fuels being burnt is gas. So if you're saying we're going to swap this trash burner for the natural gas, it is inevitable that this community is going to get more dioxins, more furans, and more toxic metals. It's just simply as logical as that. They're replacing a clean gas burner with a trash incinerator. The other thing I want to just stress to you, because this is very important, Tata would like you to believe that they're just being very responsible about trying to be more sustainable by reducing the amount of fossil fuels they're burning, and aren't they nice people? They have got an alternative fuel to use. Is that what's driving this thing? Producing energy? No, it's just simple. It's money. Money, money, money. They get paid for taking this fuel. You can see why they're interested. They have to buy natural gas, and other people pay a lot of money to get rid of this crap from their communities, if only they can find a patsy community where it can be burnt. And of course they will pay a lot of money to get rid of this stuff, if they possibly can, and not do the responsible thing. So basically, Tata is making money out of the fact that other communities are lazy, and what usually slows this process down is not many people are willing recipients to become a dump town, a host for all the crap that other people are getting rid of. But if we're talking about money, let's talk about money. Let's be hard-nosed about money. Ask any real estate agents that you know, show them a picture of your house, and then show them exactly the same picture of your house with the stack of an incinerator in the same photograph, and ask them how the value changes. Now, I toured the area today, and literally thousands of houses will be able to see the stack of this incinerator. So what this means is that every property owner in this area that is able to see that stack, see that incinerator, and even ones that are not, are going to have their property values depressed. And what somebody should be saying is, it fair for a giant corporation to make a lot of money at the expense of a few thousand, 10,000, whatever it is, people who are going to lose a lot of money in the life savings that they put into their houses. So if you're talking about money, the council and others who can intervene in the democratic process, I'm not sure where we're at the moment. The danger is, of course, it goes into the bureaucratic process. You need to hold on to democracy as much as possible. I'm glad to hear that the council has opposed this project. But basically, Tata is going to drag you into the waste business. And it's dragging this town is going to become a waste town, a dump town. And that's not good for you. Maybe good for them, but not good for you. And I would remind you about these emissions here. Are citizens prepared to accept the increase in toxic air emissions and the loss of property values because Tata wants to make a profit by importing waste from other places? You know, I have to smile. It is ironic. On last Friday, the 9th of September, I was at a big zero waste conference in Coventry, and there was a wonderful presentation from Jaguar Land Rover, about all the wonderful things they're doing with zero waste. They're doing terrific things. I mean, really very impressive Of course, Tata and Jaguar are now, Jaguar and Land Rover are now owned by Tata. So on the one hand, they're doing the right things with their the fancy cars, but they're doing the wrong thing with their chemical plant here. By building this high-tech toilet for communities and companies too lazy to do the right thing, Tata is delaying a shift towards sustainable solutions by 25 years. And that really brings me to the better alternatives. It's not enough to say no to these things. We've got to say yes to a few things. And here are some of the alternative energy sources that we should all be considering, including Tata. Energy conservation. We can save a hell of a lot of money by being more efficient. Solar water heating. That should be on every house that gets any sunshine at all. Photovoltaics. Wind power. Look at the megawatts of this plant and see how many windmills you'd have to build. It's not many. It really isn't. I think the big windmills now are 4 megawatts. So this plant is what? 60? 60. So, of course, the windmills don't run all the time, so you'd have to do some calculations, but it's not too many windmills. Wave and tidal power. I'm not quite sure where that is in England. There was a lot of excitement about developments in Scotland on this. You've got the Mersey there, so I would think there's a potential. Hydroelectric. And of course, we have anaerobic digestion. If we're going back to waste for a moment, it's very popular now in England is to take either the clean organic fraction or the dirty organic fraction and anaerobically digest that to produce methane. And that might be another possibility here. Alternative waste management. There I am on much securer grounds. Oh, by the way, I'd like to hear your input on alternative suggestions for that, positive suggestions. For my money, I would say natural gas burning here is the best option for as long as you can keep it going. That would be my thing. Look for other ways of making money. The waste problem will be not solved with better technology. All this preoccupation with magic machines is misplaced. But with better organization, better education, and better industrial design. So now I'm going to talk about the Zero Waste 2020 strategy. I've got about 10 minutes to do this, so I'm going to go pretty fast. Zero waste is a new direction. We have to move from the back end of waste management, landfills and incinerators, to the front end of resource management, better industrial design, and post-consumerism. Zero waste is an idealistic goal, but it can be approached with a series of practical steps which are simple, which are cost-effective, and politically acceptable. Unlike landfills and incinerators, these are all, in my view, politically acceptable. So the 10 steps to zero waste. Here they are. I'll just read them out quickly. We'll go through them one by one. Source separation, door-to-door collection, composting, recycling, reuse, repair, deconstruction, waste reduction initiatives, economic incentives, residual separation research centre, better industrial design, and a temporary landfill to back this all up, where we hope by 2020 we're putting very, very little into that landfill. So that's the overview, and now the individual steps. I'll take the first two together, source separation and door-to-door collection. Waste is made by mixing. It's unmade by separation. So these 10 things are